Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jerica and you already know you're watching Shelf Love with D. Welcome back to another weekly wrap up of my reads and streams. Y'all, I don't know what has been going on with me lately, but I have just been, it's not a reading slump. I've just physically in my body have felt so tired, and it's more than likely because my household seems to be getting sick one by one. And then once I get someone else feeling better, somebody else is getting called home from school sick or at work feeling sick. I'm starting to feel sick. It's like as each one of my loved ones gets sick, then if I'm feeling better when they're sick, I'm starting to feel icky all over again. So needless to say, for the past week and a couple of days, I have just not really been reading. I even started a new book, Wahala. That was one of my Dollar Tree finds, and I am enjoying the book, but I've not gotten very far in it. I want to say maybe like chapter 10 or 11, and I started that book maybe 4 days ago. I just really have been resting and focusing on rest, listening to my body, and my body is saying, girl, lay down, just be, relax your mind. So I have not really been watching too much of anything. I've not really been reading too much of everything. So this video shouldn't be a very long one. Nonetheless, I appreciate each and everyone who showed up for me today to listen to my weekly wrap up and get updated with me. So let's get right into it. Weekly reads and streams, and we will start with our reading, of course. All right, so the first book up that I read was Listen for the Lie. This was a thriller. I was very excited about reading this book. As of this moment, am still deciding what I'm rating that book. I feel very torn. One of the reasons because this is a hyped book, and so that like really had my expectations super high. I read the book. To be honest, it took me a good couple of tries to really get into the book. So then I started listening to it or reading it immersively, because I initially was just listening to it audio, because everyone was saying you have to listen to the audio because of the podcast element. So I was strictly doing that, and then I'm like, okay, I needed something to keep me focused in, because it did have the podcast element. I needed like the book or, my Kindle. I needed the words on the page to keep me in the mindset of this is a story, this is a book you were reading. So I will say I did like the podcast element. I didn't foresee who the murderer was. So I guess the story was, was written out well to where, for me personally, it wasn't easy to guess who the murderer was. I will say this didn't feel fully like a thriller. It had a lot of kind of love triangle things going on. So for me, that took away a bit from the thriller aspect of it. I think I'm landing on a 3.5 to 4 stars. I do think it could have been better if maybe it shortened a bit, because I do feel like whenever they switched to like the podcast part, I was really into it. Listen to these people have conversations and share the town gossip and things like that. And then I feel like it was switched back to the story element, and it got a bit repetitive. It got a little bit kind of boring and bland for me. When I initially started reading it, I was really, I was anticipating a 4 to 5 star rating, and it wasn't fully holding my attention, and I'm really surprised because this book had such rave reviews. However, I did enjoy it. I just didn't get that thriller feeling that I normally get when I'm reading thrillers, and with me not being a thriller girly, like also with me not being someone who strictly reads thrillers, you know, I'm just kind of looking for that feeling that separates like thrillers from like romance or contemporary fiction. So this felt a little bit more like contemporary fiction with a sprinkle of thriller element to it. There is I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but the main character, I want to say her name is Lucy. Throughout the book, she has this little voice in her head that kind of tells her to do bad things, and we can hear the things that she says. And for me, that was a bit corny. It was a bit unnecessary, and I feel like it was a bit cheesy because to me it's done so that we think even more that she was a murderer, but it was just kind of coming across kind of cringe because it'd be like kill, 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 let's kill, and it was a little overkill. They did that a little too much. I felt like it was an element not needed, but overall it's not a book that I would say don't read it. I'm really interested in what my thriller girlies, like my girls who strictly read thrillers or read thrillers, my girls who strictly read thrillers or majority thrillers. I'm curious as to what you guys thought about the book. But yeah, it was just okay for me. It wasn't bad. I don't regret reading it. I just think I expected more because it was put on such a high pedestal. Like everybody was raving about it. You gotta read it, you gotta read it. And for the most part, for me, what I enjoyed the most about the book was the podcast element. So if you have read this book, please let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. I know I'm probably the oddball out because I went on Goodreads and I saw everyone rating this pretty much 4 to 5 stars. There was only a sprinkle of us that was like, 2-3 stars. But yeah, for me, I think I'm going to settle on a 3.5 to 4 stars. I just think there could have been a bit more thriller action. I think the little voice in her head could have been vetoed out. I think it could have been shortened to maybe not make the reader grow bland or grow tired or bored with the story. But yeah, if you have read this book, please let me know in the comments what you thought. I just really expected to love this book, and it's kind of disappointing that I didn't just love it. I almost just bought the book because of how much people raved about it. I was just gonna buy it without reading it, and I don't usually do that with thrillers unless they're like at Dollar Tree, because I want to see if I enjoy the book or not, because I'm kind of new to the thriller genre, so I'm not just so quick to buy that book, but buy those books. But with how everyone was raving about the book, I almost just went and spent those coins and just bought it, and I'm glad that I didn't. I don't think this will be one that I buy myself. If someone were to gift it to me, cool, whatever, but for me personally, I could do without it being on my shelf, and I could do without ever reading it again, and I probably wouldn't read it again unless like one of my friends was reading it and asked me to read it again with them. I would do that because of course that's what we do for our book girlies. But me personally, if it's up to me, I would read it again. It's not a bad book. I expected more, and it was a little bit more contemporary fiction with a sprinkle of thriller versus it being the other way around. All right, so that's it for that. Moving on to the next book, what book did I read? Eric Jerome Dickey. Just right up here. Look at me being able to pull books off the shelf now. Okay, so the other book that I read was Eric Jerome Dickey, Between Lovers. Now this book was good. I rated it 5 stars because I simply enjoyed this ride. I rated it 5 stars because the premise was just so different for me. I have not read a book before where a woman is confused about her sexuality. So she blows up her whole life to try to figure it out. This book, if you don't know, is about a man named Daryl and a woman named Nicole, and they have been together 7 years, and she leaves him at the altar. This is not a spoiler, it's on the back of the book. She leaves him at the altar, and then he chases after her and what's going on. She confesses to him. Making sure I don't tell too much. She confesses to him that she's in love with another person, that it's a woman, and pours her heart out, whatever. So but the twist about it, or the difference that really stuck out to me, was that she did not want to be with Daryl. She wanted him, but she also wanted this lifestyle. And it was like, she was so sheltered growing up, and she had been with Daryl for 7 years, and she just felt like she didn't really get to explore, and so she was unsure of what she wanted. And so this whole book, majority of this book, probably 90% of this book, he is chasing her. They've made an arrangement where once a month he comes to visit her, and they have a weekend together. And when he's not there, she's living with the girl in a rainbow community, and that's her life. But she gets to see him once a month, and supposedly trying to figure out whether she wants to be with him, or whether she is going to fully commit to that lifestyle. And I understand loving someone so much that love will make you do crazy things. But for me personally, all you had to do was tell me that you're confused of whether you want me or someone else, and I would have made the choice for you. But nonetheless, he loved her so much that he was willing to give her time, because he felt that the love that they had between one another could sustain this. And she would she would go have her fun, come back to her right mind, come back to Daryl, and then they would be together and live out the plans that they had together. So what do you need?
Do you need to talk to me about?
I'll come to you when I'm done. Okay. Yeah. So anywho, so throughout the book, when they are together on the weekend, he is trying to love her down real good. He's trying to just remind her of the memories and things they used to have. And, there are moments where it feels like that Nicole is drawing back to him, and then she pushes away, and then she's like, I want you, I'm not sure, I love you, but I love her too. And then she proposes this crazy idea, which I guess nowadays is not so crazy, but that can we all just be together? Can we have an arrangement where we just all be together? And, I don't know, this was crazy. And I was really intrigued from start to finish in this book. Even satisfied with the ending. I do wish that the ending had came a bit sooner, but I think this is a bit more realistic when it comes to matters of the heart. How when you truly believe that someone is your person and you're meant to be, you will fight until the end, or until it just seems like, okay, game over. But if you have not read this book, just like a lot of Eric Jerome Dickey's other books, must read. I feel that he writes women very well. They are Nicole in this book, she has a career, but I like that he wrote all of them were pretty successful. The woman that she wanted to be with, as well as Daryl, he was a writer in the book, so I love that element. And most of the stories that he wrote in most of his stories that he wrote were about his life, so highly recommend this book. Really enjoyed it. This was a good time, and would read this again. And I cannot wait to get more of Eric Jerome Dickey books on my shelf. If you've read this one, let me know your thoughts. What did y'all think of this love triangle? What did y'all think of Daryl's final decision, Nicole's final decision? Let me know down in the comments. Let's talk books. So that is it for the books that I read, y'all. I only got 2 books read this past week. That's okay. That's still pretty good. I hope to get back on in my groove of reading this upcoming week. Like I said, I've started Wahala, and I still have my physical TBR that I need to get into, and I'm pretty sure, 98% sure I'll be able to get all those books read before the month of February is up. All right, so now moving on to my streams. Like I said, I didn't get a whole lot of things watched this past week, so it's just kind of background noise. Shh, you have to be quiet, okay? Be quiet. So it was mainly rewatches or background noise things this past week. I watched, I got caught up on some Tell Me Lies on Hulu. If you have not watched that, y'all jump into it. It is a YA show, but it is full of twisty turns, drama, tease filling. It will hold your attention. If you're looking for something that will hold your attention, that's messy, episode after episode, have your jaw hitting the floor, definitely gotta check out Tell Me Lies. But I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I watched Next Level Bake, another Chef Ramsay show, and I've watched A Different World. Love Different World. I've already watched that through multiple times, so it is just kind of one of those comfort feel good shows that I put on from time to time when I just want to I don't know, get into that space. It's so crazy how putting on those old shows it's kind of like a blanket just wrapped around you. Love to hear like the old lingo and the way they dress and how things looked and the feel. Just a different time. All in all, really enjoy it. I don't know if there's anyone who has not watched A Different World, but Dwayne and Whitley are my couple that I have loved since I was, I don't know, a teenager. I just love them together, even though it took Whitley a minute to get herself together and see Dwayne for the man that he was. She eventually did, and of course, you know, the rest is history. But that's pretty much it for my weekly wrap up, y'all. We have really just been over here going through it, trying to get better and fight off all these germs. So hopefully next week I have more books to talk to you guys about, and maybe even a bit more streams, if because I do have a few on my list that I want to watch. I'll just say that for next time. So that is it. That is all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank you so much for joining me for this weekly wrap up. And until next time, don't forget to show yourself some love today.
Blessed with another chance, blessed with another chance, blessed with another chance, I am